Okay, hello and welcome. This is Dataless Creation. Um, I had a subscriber request that I use my soxhlet extraction to make coffee. So here we are. On the side here, I have a little bit of a web page up. I'll have to link that, but it describes soxhlet extraction. Essentially, what you have is your solvent in your round bottom flask. In this case, it's going to be water. And it's put inside a heating mantle that heats it up to a temperature that would be appropriate for your solvent to then boil. The vapor would then rise into this part of the glassware where it would rise then again into the reflux chamber. There, it acts like a condensing jacket, so your pure solvent will drip down as a liquid onto your material that you wish to extract. So, in this case, in order, according to the coffee that I'm going to be using, some Joe, New York Joe, medium dark roast, smooth, balanced, aromatic, hints of caramel and mocha. Sounds good. And of course, it requires scissors. I'm in a workshop. That's fine. Scissors. Now, it tells me that this is 2 tablespoons for 6 ounces of water is recommended. Now, 6 ounces of water is, I think it's about 170 milliliters or something like that. I'm going to be using about 205 milliliters. That's about 7 ounces. So we'll deal with the water after we deal with this part first. Got my half tablespoon measure. Now, the coffee will be going into this. It's called the thimble. There's a ceramic little screen, if you would, on the bottom. It's a porous, but only for your dissolved materials. So that's a half. One. One and a half. Being really careful not to knock anything over. I'm going to heat this one up a little bit because we're using a little extra water. And why the heck not? So, you know what? I'm going to go risky. Maybe I'll go with 8 ounces of water. Meh. I'm going 8 ounces of water. I may as well add in an extra schmitch. 8 ounces, if I'm not mistaken, is under 250 milliliters. I think it's about 240 or so. I can look up a conversion later. But anyway, so the thimble goes into the soxhlet extractor. Okay, let's close up this coffee. Knowing me, I'll knock it over. I don't want to do that. I also don't want to struggle on camera to close coffee. Well, succeeded at one thing. Now, again, this glassware has never been used for anything other than food use. So I'll go with, yeah. Yeah, it's about 212 or 15 milliliters. So our water goes in our main flask. This is as well set up as it's going to be. Little magnetic stir bar. Temperature probe for the mantle. That should be good. Nice proper fit. Now this is, again, just for support. It's not necessarily, other than display purposes, I have it up like this. It's not, ideal. Sounds like they're doing landscaping next door. Wonderful. That's all I have to complain about. I'm doing alright. That's what I would say. And I don't even know if the noise cancellation has you hear it. So, now down below I have a bucket with jugs of ice in water and a pump, which is connected to this variac, or variable AC transformer. This is the inlet for the water for my condenser jacket, my reflux chamber. And this is the drainage for said setup. Nothing is plugged in just yet. Everything is plugged into a ground fault interruption, just in case of any issues. It'll immediately kill the electricity. So let's see what goes on with the water. Water comes up. Looks to be working well. No crazy blowouts or anything. That's always a good thing. It's never fun having water spraying all over the place. So, now, we'll turn this on. We'll set the temperature. Yeah, we'll set it to 110. Turn on my magnetic stirring. Just for fun. And now comes God knows how long of a wait. Oh, that's been following me this whole time? That was not supposed to be doing that. I am not. There. Stupid thing. Okay, so. Soxhlet extraction. I bring up my page here. What is it? How does it work? Well, the purpose for it is to get things that don't want to dissolve readily. So your semi-soluble materials, this can be set up to run for hours, days, or however long is needed for you to extract what you're looking for. In the pharmaceutical industry, they'll use it for extracting materials from plants, which they'll then further isolate and examine. If you have a hesitant molecule to dissolve in your solvent, one thing you're doing is you're raising it almost, well, you're literally raising it to the boiling point of your solvent, which then will condense down and should still theoretically be a reasonably warm enough temperature to be dissolving whatever material you're trying to extract. Also, if something's more soluble, let's say in alcohol, than it is in water, but there's a bunch of other stuff that's soluble in water as well, that's not an appropriate solvent to use. So, by knowing what you're looking for, what kind of molecule you're looking for, you can choose an appropriate solvent. Water's a polar solvent. If I were to use a different solvent, I could extract different compounds from my material. Um, like, oh, I don't know, an example would be using a non-polar solvent like a hexane, and you could extract fats and oils much more readily than you could with water, for sure, because water is going to not interact with those molecules and dissolve them properly. So, by adjusting your solvent and your scenario, you can set this up to run for days and days and days. With that being said, I'm going to bring myself back over to what I'm looking at, make sure that stupid thing's not AI locked back on me. I mean, at this point, it's only at 33 degrees, so I guess at this point, I don't see any point to not. Second, that's not what I'm trying to move. This is. Let's take a look at the workshop. And now it's hopefully going to follow me. So, I've had this workshop now in progress for several years. I'm a woodworker. I've been a contractor doing home improvements. I was a chemistry teacher. I worked in IT tech for a local government back in the day, doing their website and updates and tech help support, usual help desk stuff. But my passion was always at my father's workbench, so I built this workbench and this workshop. So let's take a look around. A lot of this is salvaged materials. These shelves were essentially, this was part of a dresser hutch. I find use for what people discard if it's still functional. If you take care of things, they last God knows how long. Like this hand plane, my uncle gave it to me. It is real old. I love it. I restored it. It now can shave off. You can kind of see through it. I'll have a video on that at some point. But this is what I love doing. I've got all my hammers over here. I know where everything is. It looks like chaos, but if you follow me over here, here we got all my other tools that I could want. Over here, I've got bigger power tools. This is my passion. I love making things, creating things. If you want to think about it like, what did I sit down and worship as a kid? It would be the ingenuity of MacGyver. A little cheesy, but man, if you were to try to do anything in the show, it certainly wouldn't work out the way it did in the show. I can tell you that much. But I think it's part of what passion, um, it's what instilled some of this passion in me to MacGyver stuff, to use my mind, to problem solve, to tinker. Over here, which I'm gonna get back to. I gotta get my head. It's tracking my head. You know what? I'm gonna find my mouse and work smarter, not harder. Let's take it. Well, nope. Now I gotta learn left and right. There we go. That right there is still not back together. And I'm ashamed of it. Because I gotta get a couple little parts, and I've just been waiting on it, and I got distracted. So that's just an example of one of the projects that I've put on the back burner, unfortunately. But I made all this. I put the French cleats on the wall back here. I made a box for my glassware, and tools can hang on the brackets that I've made. Like, it's been a long journey. It's been an adventure, and oh my god, what a struggle. I get in my own way too much. My lady tells me that. It's just part of life, you know? So anyway, let me see how far I can make this thing crane its neck. There's my shelving, a whole bunch of more tools, obviously, but you can see the curtains up there. I put up all that shielding for various purposes, but insulation being one of them. But I got my curtains up there that I can use as a set. Put them in front of my TV. Put my butt in front of the TV a little too often. I got my lighting bar up there. Like, I'm really proud of this. After so much work, it just, on that half of the shop, there's another pegboard on the backside of that pegboard, but there's my bandsaw right there. You can see that. I got my compressor air duster. But just a lot of hard work went into that. There's some old bicycles back in there that I plan to take apart because I don't have a woodworking lathe. And I would like a woodworking lathe that I make myself because I'm crazy and that's the kind of fun I have. So, back to the coffee. We are now at 70 degrees Celsius. We can see some condensation up in here. So, hopefully we'll see some rising up. Oh, I see some in the elbow here. So it's catching up. So it's just 71. It should speed up now. Hopefully. In the meantime, guess I don't need I don't need to stand in front of the whole experiment. That's for sure. That'll be a good start, John. So I mean, I don't even know if people can read that, but I'll put the link in later into the comments. I just gotta type it up. But anyway, what else can I talk about? Oh, here we go. Coffee mug, exciting. Nah, this was actually a gift that I just, as you can see, am opening now. It took far too long to open this. This is actually something a person a long time ago gave me. It's when I was a teacher. It's chalkboard and chalk. So there, we got DC. We can put it as Daedalus Creation or DC Comics, whatever, man. Finally got to the gift. 80 degrees. Alright, let's get this thing going. Come on. Isn't as exciting as I want it to be, but win some, lose some. See if I can get some. Ooh, extreme close up. And I don't want my little eyebrow in there, so this is gonna be. Of course, I have a friend calling me right now. Knucklehead. My other friends know who it is then. Of all the friends I texted, this is the one I didn't text. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be going live. Don't interrupt me. Best laid plans, right? It's going at 86 degrees now. It's getting closer. I'm like a little kid. I'm just like, should probably just shut up. Let you ASMR. I don't even know what that is. No, it doesn't help. It's almost at boiling. So once it reaches a good temperature, again, what'll happen is the boiling liquid is rising in this tube here, the outer one, and then it will rise up into the reflux jacket, condenser, whatever you wish to call it. It's proper terminology. I don't have the word written in front of me, so I'm not going to try and name it appropriately, but it's a reflux chamber. It's essentially a condenser that brings your vaporized solvent back to a liquid. It then drips on your sample in the thimble. The dissolved material will pass through the porous ceramic or borosilicate glass, whatever material it's made out of. Once the liquid fills up to this point roughly, so below the level of the thimble, it reaches a loop in the glassware right there. I might try and move the camera closer later to catch that all on live stream. It's just a little tricky. But might as well try and do that now so we can all see what happens before the action gets going. So zoom that back out. And hope I wired everything up in a way where I don't yank the wires and computer off the table and make my life of, we'll just say, more colorfully languaged. I'm already running risky business here. Work smarter, not harder. Move the laptop. And move the camera. Oop, wires, hang on. I don't know if this is exciting for you, but for me, it's definitely nerve-wracking. Ooh. Is that even closer? I don't even know. The laptop contraption's in my way. What strange noises will this man make? Looks like okay. That's not bad. Whew. That was my heart's actually honestly beating a little fast. So now, ooh, that's a much better angle. Ooh, I like that. So our water's starting to boil now. Just barely. More of a simmer. You can see the condensation building up in here now. I wish I could zoom in more. You can see the vapor trying to make its way up, and it's condensing in the rising tube because the shop temperature is obviously not quite so hot. But what's going to happen is the condensate forming up around here in the top, slowly going to fill it from the bottom as well, but we'll see it start dripping in a few, I hope. Yeah, that's all internal. Once it gets running a little better, it should clear up, because now that we've got a good active boil going, you can see the droplets are kind of running down quicker. So I'm gonna just quiet my mind. There we go. I think that should be a little more visually pleasing. Got the clamp out of the way for you. Yeah. I find this enjoyable. Oh, I have somebody in the chat. I'll say hello. Don't know if the sound is okay, but I do not know what you have said. But thank you for being here. I would suggest a regular coffee maker if you wish to save some money. This is certainly not the most efficient or cost-effective setup, but I do love chemistry. So let me bring this out and show you the setup again. There's my big old noggin in the way. So our heating mantle is boiling our water solvent. Our temperature probe is controlling the temperature of the mantle so that I don't overheat. The vapor of my solvent rises this external tube up into my soxhlet extraction chamber. inside which I have the thimble. The thimble holds my, in this case, coffee, or material that we would be getting our extract from. The vaporized solvent rising into this tube gets into this chamber and rises up into the reflux condenser, where it's returned to a liquid, and it drips into our thimble, for the most part. Depends on how well you put it in there. Mine's a little cockeyed, but it's alright, it's only coffee. I'm not making pharmaceutical chemistry stuff, so. Once, hello, probe. Once the liquid level in the extractor gets high enough, what we will get to is the fun part, at least to me, where the liquid level rises, and you'll see it rising in this little tube on the inside. There's a loop at the top up here, and it comes down the backside, and it goes over here, and enters into the middle to drip back down into our flask of heating solvent. So whatever materials you've extracted are now captured down here. And the benefit to all of this is that what one then can do is attach appropriate glassware to your round bottom flask to then distill your solvent out and be left with pure extract. So you get a return of your solvent, a purified extract that you can then work with further to isolate what you're looking for. In the case of coffee, you might want to try extracting the caffeine through various methodologies. What this is utilizing is a couple of different chemistry concepts. For one, you have phase change chemistry going on, where you're getting pure solvent dripping on your sample. Even if my sample has been running for days and days and days, and it's siphoned and cycled and siphoned and cycled, and this is dark as heck, with extracted material, the vapor of my solvent is what's coming down, so that'll always be nice and crystal clear in the case of a clear, colorless solvent. So, again, like I said, once you've got all your extract, you can then take this flask and essentially boil away and recapture through distillation your solvent, which is lovely. One of the methods that you can utilize, depending on what compounds you're trying to extract, would be temperature. Maybe some of your solid materials melt at a lower temperature than others. So after extracting and drying and getting your solid materials, you heat it to a certain temperature so that whatever melts away is not wanted, maybe, or maybe that's exactly what you want. Chemistry involves all sorts of interesting but simple concepts. It's just how you put them together. It's like a puzzle. I always loved solving puzzles. I'm also really good at packing boxes and helping people move, just so you know. Not that anyone on YouTube is going to be like, hey, Daedalus, can you come on, fly over and help me move? No, I think they got companies that work specifically for that industry. They're probably cheaper to employ. So, I'm going to shush and let this run. Let's see how long ADHD lets me. So, For the reflux jacket, what I did is under the bench, I have a bucket of ice water that just pumps in circles to itself. Now, important to note, at the top, this is open to the atmosphere. I'm only making coffee, so I don't have to worry about hazardous fumes. But if I were using other solvents, something flammable, something that would be a health hazard perhaps, this would be in a fume hood so that the vapors could get extracted if they made it out of the top. As you can see here, the top globe is almost perfectly clear. This one's slightly hazy. I don't know if it shows up on the camera, but this one's clearly got condensation happening, as does the one that you can't see because of the way the collar works. There's another bubble just like this down in here. So, for the most part, my vapor for the water isn't getting much higher than here, which is nice. It's good to know. My coffee grounds are getting nicely saturated. You can see the rising liquid. This is my favorite part, though. Oh, that's so exciting. Oh, you can't see what I'm looking at. My goodness. I am, see, absent-minded professor. For sure. Whoa, no, that's, see? Trying to figure out how to zoom, making my camera go all over the place. I prepared, trust me. One of the jobs that I had was helping a good man, friend of mine, guy Chad, doing communication tower inspections. I only climbed a couple, but I helped with inspecting those structures to make sure they were safe. And at one location out in Bakersfield, California, we were out in an oil field where there was a tower, and by the safety office where we had to check in, there was a sign written on a mirror, and it said, just remember, this is the number one safety hazard on site. And you're basically looking at yourself, and it's a reminder to check your PPE, personal protective equipment. In this case, I could put on safety goggles, but none of this is, hazardous in that way. So, you definitely want to get a good shot of it when it drains. So, got a few minutes still. It's about to hear at this point. So where did I get this glassware? I was a teacher for 4 years, back before, the '08 financial situation that led to a lot of teachers looking for jobs and not enough schools that were able to pay for them. But at that time, I, started doing other things, as I tend to. I like bouncing around. Teaching, I love. The paperwork involved with teaching, the planning, the hours that no one seems to know or credit properly. I'm not one to decry that teachers' pay is unfair or anything like that. I don't know enough about what they're getting around the world to say anything, but teachers work hard. And it was a sort of work that took too much of my independent spirit. And I burned out from the workload in terms of paperwork and just the grind. It didn't fascinate me. What fascinates me is the chemistry. What fascinates me is that moment that gets someone's eyes to light up and say, like, oh my god, I get it. That makes sense. Like, what I'm doing here sounds really complicated, or it looks really complicated to the casual observer. You've got this whole crazy apparatus. Oh my god, what is this man doing? He's making coffee. This is my stove. This is my pot. This is my percolator. That's all. But if I had, some research chemistry going on, then, a whole different crew of people would be fascinated by it. But at the end of the day, I'm just some goofy knucklehead making coffee with some crazy chemistry apparatus because he's having fun. And this thing doesn't go fast enough for his ADHD. It's a burn. My lovely lady tells me I get my own way. And I can understand that. I get frustrated with myself a lot. I get overthinking. I think way too much about stuff instead of just pull the trigger, get it done. I could have done this days ago, and I feel sorry. I want to apologize to the subscriber that was interested in seeing me do coffee last week, that this didn't happen sooner for you if you do catch this. I'm going to try and make a short. In fact, I should probably record and set up to record with my phone. Ooh. All right. See, this is the ADHD I'm talking about. I'll be right back. Probably happier that I'm walked away. Just gonna shut up. Hmm. Ooh, I almost tripped over a wire. That would have made my day very, very unhappy. Just yank all this stuff off the wall, kind of thing. Okay, cool. Alright, I think I'm all set. Neat. Oh, you can see everything I was doing. Hey, nice. That was unplanned success, I think. Laughing my fool self. I'm in it for you, the viewers. and for my enjoyment, because I'm enjoying sharing what I'm doing, and I get to be a teacher without homework. I don't have to grade anything. You know how much of a pain it is to have to grade 90 or 100 homeworks, lab reports, tests, quizzes, etc. like each week? It on top of planning and strategizing for, like, A, B, or C who may be struggling, how to fine tune understandings. Like, ooh, just thinking about what it was like gets me. Dude, if you're a teacher, my hat's off to you for the work you do. If you're a good teacher, you gotta be a good one. There's a lot of them out there that are just in it for, I'm not sure what purposes, but they could do better. So if you're one of those, I hope you get inspired to find that spark that lit your world. And I hope you get more kids with that aha moment where they're like, it clicks. I really, really know teachers would appreciate more of that. But I'm not going to go on any sort of political diatribes, believe me. I don't want to. Ooh, look at this. This is looking nice to me. Ooh. Barely see. Can't even see the coffee grounds. But the level of the water is all the way up to here. This is fun. It's that little kid in me that's coming out now. I have to take this down a little bit. I'm gonna double check the phone. Oh, it's nice. It's set up at a good angle to catch all the action. Let me get that coffee back there. Advertise a brand. Oh, no. This isn't gonna work out. That'll do. Oh, look at that. Alright, nice. Almost like I strategized and planned that too. Do a little schmagiggy of the water here. Set the stage. Why don't you put on some mood lighting? Sarcastic. I have monkeys that live in my head and they say wicked things. They tease me. I wish I understood what the person who typed into chat had typed. I'd have to see about translating that later, because I am curious. But hello and thank you again for watching. There's no way of knowing. The control panel right now for my studio is not functioning properly. Couldn't really be bothered to fix it, honestly. So, don't know if you can see this. We'll zoom in. Maybe it would help. There. Ooh. You know what? I very much like that. I'm gonna... Is that gonna help? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I like that better. Yeah, let me... Sorry about my arm in the way, but this is another one of those moments where oh, I shouldn't have moved it. Well, you know, more tape. Ooh, I like that. Like a big kid. Yeah, the white throws off the balance a little bit, so you can't quite see the dripping anymore. But our liquid is up to here now in our little side sleeve. Yeah, you can kind of see it off my hand, but it's roughly here. Again, before it clears the hump, in case anybody's just coming into this, we're using a soxhlet extraction to make coffee. And the way it works, your heating mantle heats your solvent until it boils, whatever your solvent, in this case water, rises up through this tube on the outside. Well, you can't see it with the paper towel in the way. Rises up that outer tube, up into the condenser jacket above. And then it drips down onto your sample. Mine seems to have expanded quite a bit. It has not overflown itself. There's a lot of air bubbles in there, apparently. Didn't quite expect this coffee to rise up the way it did, but not to worry. You can see the liquid creeping up the tube to siphon. think I'm going to back this out just a little bit. I don't like the look of this from this angle. For my recording of the best part, I'm gonna have to keep that out. You'll have to look for my short. Zoom in best I can. Gonna do my little intro in a second because it's about to go over the hump. Welcome to Dataless Creation. Today I am making coffee via soxhlet extraction, and it's just about to start siphoning from my soxhlet extractor back into the round bottom flask where my heating mantle has the water boiling. It's just about to do the exciting thing. Hello and welcome. This is Dataless Creation, making coffee via soxhlet extraction, and we are just nearing the most exciting part. The coffee is about to go over the siphon for the first time. If you want more information on the process, I'll link the video. So close. As my vaporized water rises in the outer tube, it goes into a condenser so it drips on my coffee. Once it gets high enough, which it's just about there, should drain back into the boiling water. And that, my friends, is how coffee is made by soxhlet extraction. I hope you found that as exciting as I did. I'm going to leave that running, but I think I've got my short. I'm happy. Now y'all know what goes into making a friggin' short of a few minutes long. I think at this point my coffee's done. I don't need it to boil endlessly. Just gonna leave that set for now, let it cool down. long as this is running, it's going to continue to extract the coffee. May as well leave it running. Why the heck not? I mean, it seems silly not to. It's still showing color. I think I'm just going to leave this set. But I'm not going to keep the live stream going. I have other things I need to get to. Now that my coffee is ready, New York brand of coffee. Got myself some donuts. Got my cup. Please like and subscribe if you want more crazy, whatever the heck I'm up to at some point. Appreciate anybody who's watched this. How do I shut this off? How do I do that? I'm just kidding.